We've talked a lot in this course about how loops define the details on our objects, and in this video I want to expand on that a little bit and show you how different loops can serve different purposes. So if you go to the topology examples file and go to the loops collection and look at the mug object and head over into material preview, then you can see that I've color-coded the face loops with different materials. First we have the red loops, which I'll call detail loops, since they define the extremes of our details. Those are surrounded by blue loops, which I call support loops, which help protect the details from pinching and stretching. Then the green and white I call fill loops, and those are there to fill in the rest of the area and define the silhouette. In order of importance, the red areas are the most important part to get right, and then the blue area, and then the green. This definitely is not an exact science, and I've made up these terms, but I want to use them to help visualize what these different loops are doing. Let's take a look at another example, which will be even more clear. So I'll hide the mug and look at the cookie object. And here we can see that the loops that run all the way around the perimeter are those detail loops. But then we also have blue loops surrounding those, which help protect those details from pinching and pulling. So for example, down here, if I were to connect these vertices right to the perimeter of the object, then when we have subdivision surfaces enabled, this red loop is no longer going to be perfectly smooth. Instead, it's going to be slightly pinched up at all of these different points. And so we're using this blue loop as a buffer in between that pinching and the detail. That way our poles aren't interfering with the most important parts of the model. So you can think of the blue loops as support loops or buffer loops that just help protect the main details. Then the green and white loops just fill in the rest of the model and help define the silhouette, which in this case is pretty flat. So we have a lot more leeway when it comes to the topology in those areas. So as we start working on creating this object in the next lesson, pay special attention to how some loops are there to define, some loops are there to support, and other loops are there to fill in the gaps.